Preston McCall here again. I'm going to talk about three Impressionist painters that I've admired and show a sampling of some of their works. Manet, Monet, and Degas. In art school and in studying art history, it took me a while before I could figure out the difference between Manet and Monet, but nonetheless, after looking at a lot of the work, I can pretty much recognize it today. First one is Manet, and I want to talk a little bit about him. He was like 51 when he died. He did not live to be very old. And he was considered to be very slapdash. His work was loose, and many people accused him of not finishing his work, even though he felt like he'd quite finished it. His father encouraged him to study law, but he went off, thanks to his mother's inspiration, and became a painter. He worked with Degas, Monet, Renoir, Sisley, Cezanne, Pissarro, and Berthe Morisot in the exhibitions of the Impressionism there in the 1870s. He used the color black, which was an unusual. Most of the Impressionists didn't like using black, but he did use it. And he depicted life as it was, as Baudelaire, the poet, described. He said that he wanted to just depict normal life settings. And interestingly, he died of poor circulation problems relating to syphilis. So he had a short career as a painter, but produced some really incredible work. Manet produced some really kind of based on history paintings. And they were a little odd in terms of how the public reacted to them. And then he also produced some very scandalous nude female poses, some odalisques. And the public was kind of shocked by it because the lady in this one Olympia painting is being attended to by a black maid and a bouquet of flowers from like a potential lover, and she's scantily clad with an orchid in her hair. They thought this was rather scandalous at the time. Today we don't think too much about it. Now, Monet lived to be 86. He was a real believer in plein air painting, which is where you paint outside. And he had, later on in his life, he became very successful. And he had this place called Giverny, which was gardens and a pond and a Japanese bridge in France that he worked on, gardened, and hired 4 gardeners to manage and designed it, and it apparently is a beautiful place. I've not seen it, talked to many people that have, and it's really a wonderful place. A lot of water lily pieces. As he got older, he worked very large, very, very large paintings, and he had a lot of trouble with his eyesight. He had cataracts, and surgery for cataracts then was a little bit dicey, and he waited very long before he finally had it, and he did have it. But he developed what was called blue vision, and they finally got that corrected somehow, and he went back and reworked some of his earlier pieces. He said, "I like to paint as the bird sings." So he was very spontaneous in what he was trying to paint. And they're absolutely beautiful, beautiful paintings. He died at the age of 86 of lung cancer and was very solitary. He really spent a lot of time by himself. Beautiful painter, love his work. I've admired Degas' work ever since I was quite young. My mother kind of turned me on to him. She had some prints and had one of his little statues that was a reproduction that she got somewhere. And I had it for years. It's since been lost. Anyway, he lived to be like 83. His father naturally wanted him to go to law school like Manet. And he did not want to do that. So he wanted to study art, and his mother allowed that. And when he was like, 29, he met Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, that we Americans call Ang, and was very influenced by his ability to draw and render. And then in 1864, he met Manet, and really became part of the Impressionist movement, although he rejected it. He didn't consider himself as an Impressionist, even though he participated in the showings and sold quite a bit of work. He had a very interesting kind of lonely life, but he believed that an artist must live alone and have a private life that remains completely unknown. Unusual guy. And he was also an anti-Semite. He had a big problem with Jewish people and fired some models and got rid of his friends that were Jewish. It was a time in France that anti-Semitism took off, and he was part of it. And today he's not looked back on as an anti-Semite so much as he is just an incredible draftsman of dancers and some landscapes and some horse racing paintings. So I like his color, I like his ability. He was a great draftsman, but he was really not an Impressionist. If you like these naked artist exposure videos, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Your support and comments are much, much appreciated. And I'll try to respond as necessary. Email me. Let me know how you feel about them. And thanks again for watching. I'm Preston McCall.